Ranking up can be hard, so you go to YouTube. You search for tips on how to climb ranks quickly, and there it is. Most of these videos are recommending you play Duelist, telling you that you need to frag out, be the match MVP, and that being Duelist is the only way to do so. Well, I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm here to prove that being good at Sentinels will win you way more games than any other roles. But that's a bold claim, so I must have some evidence, right? Well, I do. In fact, I've even tested this once before, and in my experiment, Sentinels had some of the best results. But to most of you, that means nothing. So what really makes Sentinels so great? Well, obviously, they completely dominate on defense. Every kill is built to delay or punish a push onto a site, but they are still very strong on attack. It may be a bit harder to get on site without much util for entry, but one good pick and you're fine. Once you plant, it's a cakewalk from there on out. Since all of Sentinel's util is used to stop a push or hold down a site, it is quite hard for the enemy to retake. Some agents are also able to check the spike or get someone off of it, making post-plant unbelievably easy. They are also great at holding angles your teammates are not able to. You can watch flank or another angle such as CT with your abilities, letting you and your team peek out on the timing and hold additional angles. But let's say you're not able to get onto a site. Well, may I introduce you to lurking. You can make many plays such as going through mid alone or flanking to get a pick. You can also fake sites, hold rotates, and much more. Lurking normally is used to isolate unsuspecting victims and to help clear areas so your team can get on site. But make sure that you don't do the same thing every round. Mastering Sentinels requires you to be unpredictable. But what else does mastering Sentinels involve? Well, since they're mostly about defense, let's start there. All Sentinels have util that either gathers info, slows down pushes, or isolates players. With this information in mind, you want to set up or use your abilities to make sure the site you're on is secure. However, when it comes to setups, make sure to have a variety of different ones so the team can predict your exact play and shut you down. If you normally throw a trip here for info, try throwing a kill trip like this instead. Differing your setups and being unpredictable is once again the key to success, and you can find plenty of tutorials and plenty of setups on YouTube. Another thing is to not be afraid to be the only person on your site. You should be able to hold the enemies off long enough for your team to rotate over or until the enemies decide they're not dealing with your bullcrap. For example, Sage has slow orbs in the wall that will hold the enemies off, while Cypher has a trip and cages to punish anyone who pushes up on his site. You will become the most annoying and hated player for the other team, and that's exactly what we want. You're the final boss of this match. If they go the other side, only rotate if they're committed. What I mean by this is only rotate over if the other team is on site already or if you know they're going to be ending there. You may also want to rotate over if you know your team's going to be desperate of another person. Most of the time, you're expected to be the anchor. When you do have to rotate, make sure to pick up most of your util if possible to aid your team in holding the other site or taking it back. Util such as a Vice Blind or Cypher Cam could be very handy for getting a pick or info on where the enemy is. Speaking of this, a huge problem beginners face is using all of their abilities before the round starts. It could be useful to keep some of your tools for later on in the round, such as keeping a cage for repositioning. Also try to avoid dry peeking, for it is very dangerous. You could peek straight into the entire team or just get straight out diffed. Instead, wait for your util to isolate the fight or let it help you turn the odds way into your favor. Another issue is sometimes players stick to not giving up their site no matter what. If you're being overrun, don't be afraid to back up and play retake with your team. Sentinels are all about team strategies. Understand what is most likely to win you the round and do so. Sometimes delaying as much as possible and dying is the move. Other times you should back up and play your life. Being aware of what to do and discussing with your team is completely vital and results in higher chances of winning, but may require some practice. But let's get specific. Each agent has its own purpose, and with there being 6 really interesting characters, I thought we should briefly explain them each individually. But before we get into that, I want to double back to a statement of this video. I said that you should forget Duelists. I mean, it's even in the title of the video. Some may argue still to this point that Duelists are better. And sure, Duelist is fun and all and can get you plenty of kills if you're any good, but Valorant is a team game. And just because you're top fragging does not mean you're gonna win. And we're here to win. Plus, if you can't get out of playing Duelist, man do I have the character for you. Meet Chamber. His Pocket Guardian and Teleport make him super overpowered when taking fights, especially during pistol or save rounds. He is basically the Sentinel Duelist. His Teleport is basically a better edition of a Jet Dash. If you miss a shot or get a kill, you can teleport out and reposition. Use this to peek risky angles or just to get out of a situation you know you can't win. This also makes him really good with the op, and of course his ultimate is just a stronger version of it. Yet, even with all that, he still has a trip to watch an angle. The next agent I want to talk about is Cypher, the demon that annoys any player. He's also my main. His trips are some of the strongest in the game and can be used in many different ways. It can be used like this as an info trip, which is normally used for flanking or an angle your team can't watch. Here's a quick Cypher tip. If you crouch and place the trip at your head, then it will be undodgeable. No one will be able to jump over it or crouch under it. Hopefully that helps you out. Anyway, there are also kill trips, which are normally low or high up to be tough for the enemy to find and shoot. And just as in the name, its purpose is to get a kill.
Oh, never mind, you got two there, nice.
Trips aside, his cages are what makes him special. He can somewhat be used as an additional controller, since he has the equivalent of a pocket smoke. You can block off choke points, smoke off your trips, smoke to reposition, and probably some more things I'm forgetting. His cam and ult are both used together info, not much to say there. However, you may begin noticing a theme. There is one Sentinel that is able to do the job of another role, meaning theoretically, and I mean very theoretically, you should be able to fill any role to a certain extent only using Sentinels. So who's the initiator of the group? Well, it's clearly Vice. Her blind allows her to help entry or take fights, similar to a breach flash. Other than that, she's kinda similar to Sage, with a wall that isolates fights and a damaging slow. Her ult, however, is just like Initiator's because it makes it super easy to take sight or pick off enemies. The rest of the Sentinels are kinda what you would expect. Sage is the most stereotypical Sentinel, for she is all about delaying the other team with her wall and slow wards. However, if you know who Grim is, then you know this wall can be used for some crazy plays. Next is the most underrated character in all of Valorant, Deadlock. On certain maps, she is actually crazy. I found myself playing her a lot on Pearl due to the ability to wall off main or art and use my net or sound sensors to get picks. I also use my wall to prevent diffuses, just like the grab net. The ult I still struggle with for some stupid reason, but it's good for post-planting, just getting a free kill. And last but not least is KJ, who is probably the second strongest Sentinel in the game and has some crazy good abilities. First off, the turret holds angles and can do a little bit of chip damage, but normally you want to use it for info or to peek off of it, say shoot it or get shot by it. The alarm bot should be used in combination with the swarm grenades to not only tell you when to pop them, but also to make them vulnerable so they die. You can use these for microwave setups or just to delay the other team. Killjoy on post play is also a menace. If they get on bomb, pop your swarms and swing out if necessary, and boom, easy win.
Nice!
Yes, sir!
Very nice.
Her ult also just takes any area you want. However, knowing which Sentinel to play depending on the map or your team comp is very important. There are guides on each agent you can find on YouTube, which will teach you more about the agent you want to learn. Man, that was a lot, and if I have not proved that Sentinels are broken, then I'm not sure what to do. However, I still think that having a somewhat balanced team comp is important. A Cypher does not fully replace good smokes, but hopefully instead of there being 2 duelists per comp, we'll start seeing 2 Sentinels who actually know what they're doing. Now go subscribe, like the video, join my Discord, and comment about your opinion on this matter. Without hating, please. Thanks, and good luck on your matches.